Good morning, world.
Good morning.
We got two stories today about two male athletes. William Thomas.
That is Leah Thomas.
Leah Thomas. And then the comments made by Bruce Jenner about...
Caitlyn. It's been Caitlyn for years.
Caitlyn Jenner commenting on him winning the race.
Yes.
And then we also have a COVID story with a real male athlete.
Yep.
I know we're going to get hate today. Sorry. But Kyrie Irving and his stance on COVID.
It's Kyrie. It is Kyrie. My bad. Okay, guys, stay tuned. I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian. All right, you guys, I know we're not doing this to be mean. It's just, there's biology. In my line of work, I had to go with cadavers. We had to dissect human beings. Mm-hmm. We studied bones. You can tell when somebody is a male or a female. You can't change that. I know Caitlyn Jenner looks like a girl. Maybe.
Not really.
Well, I mean, with enough work done, even Nancy Pelosi can look not 90.
Crazy.
But again, we want to point this out because this is a story that is affecting women's sports and sports in general. That's why we're doing this. We do have a little fun. That's part of what we do.
Yep.
But what was it? Henry Thomas? That was his
name?
William Thomas. William Thomas, you know what he did so he could compete with the women?
What'd he do?
He got prepared. Are you prepared?
Like Brian says, are you prepared? Do you have enough food, water, and other essentials to get you through tough times? If not, check out My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's #1 preparedness company, and they've served millions of American families just like yours. Right now, you can save 25% off their popular 4-week emergency food kit, which will keep you well fed for 4 weeks worth of breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, and snacks, totaling over 2,000 calories a day. This food stays fresh for up to 25 years in proper storage, so it will be there when you need it. In fact, you may need it a lot sooner than that.
So don't wait. Go to www.preparewithcedricandbrian.com. That's www.preparewithcedricandbrian.com.
Okay. We're a little late to this, but we got a lot of stuff going on. We got Leah Thomas winning, and we also have a Woman of the Year in Rachel Levine.
Once again, I'm not even going to say it. This is Rachel. Attractive young lady there. All right, so I got this story. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen this already, but I'm going to read just a little bit from this article right here. Leah Thomas, the transgender swimmer at the University of Pennsylvania, won the NCAA championship in the 500-yard race on Thursday. She won by 1.75 seconds. So, again, let's play this clip from... Should we play this clip from Caitlyn Jenner?
Yes.
Caitlyn Jenner, real quick.
Yes.
This was a funny clip. So he says two things here. So this is the first thing he said.
By saying that Leah Thomas destroyed the field in the 500-yard freestyle. She was 1.75 seconds faster than the runner-up, but she was 9 seconds slower than the record set by Katie Ledecky back in 2017. So she was faster than all the women in the pool last night, but she's not the fastest woman ever. So how do we put this all into perspective?
I think she was probably taking it very easy in the race because she knew the world was watching, and she's just going to go fast enough to be able to win the race.
So you can see there, Caitlyn Jenner was saying that Leah Thomas probably took it easy on that race.
Yeah.
But then, hold on, I got a funny one here first.
Okay, all right.
But then Caitlyn, bringing in the Bruce, came back again and said this.
And there was this Pink News in the UK, an LGBT publication, and there was this Emily Chuddy who wrote this article really putting me down from my stance on a lot of these things and say I was anti-trans and on and on and on. So, you know, I put out a tweet that said, well, at least I had the balls to stand up for women and girls in sports.
So did you see the look on that lady's face?
Can't argue with that statement. Did have the balls to admit that.
So then what happened is Leah Thomas only got tied for 5th in the 200.
Tied for 5th, because Brian and I are filming this on Sunday morning, and we talked about it on Saturday. So between the time we talked about it and the time that we're actually filming it, Leah came in 5th place. So you're thinking, was it thrown?
Well, here, I got a clip for you for that.
Okay.
Watch this. This will explain everything you need to know.
Go! Run! Come on! Yeah. Pick up the pace! Come on! No! Pull back! Patient! Slow down just a little bit! Don't give up! Make it close! Second! Close second! Yeah!
So as you can see,
Great movie.
Dash was being coached a little bit there.
Yes.
So our question to you, our smart viewers, do you think Leah was being coached because of all of the back? Because I know. I'm sorry, I'm using he. I think he still has a penis. So
yeah, being coached, and I think it's taking a big it's got to be taking a mental toll on him.
Yeah, I feel bad because we're allowing him to live in this fantasy world,
Right.
And now he's getting hate because he's doing something that is supposed to be for biological women, and he's winning. So I think he got so much pressure, and the whole trans community probably said, look, this is getting too much. Kind of like that weightlifter, who didn't win. Like, maybe don't, we're speculating here, maybe don't win again. But then you told me that in the 100, he got last.
100 came in dead last.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so should have pulled a dash and maybe came in 2nd or 3rd, because I can't see how he would have finished dead last unless he was coached up.
Because during the Ivy League ones, didn't he win all of them, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So, what do you guys think? Coach down, kind of like Dash.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. I just want to pontificate a little bit on this. Like, where are the feminists with Rachel Levine, with Leah Thomas? Where's the outrage? Where's the support for women? And I'm really surprised that Hillary Clinton hasn't come forward, because when she ran for president against Trump, her whole thing was empower women. Women are great. We're here. We're women. Support us. And she hasn't said a single word about this.
Because she has to buy into it, even though she probably doesn't, because she's in the age category where she's probably going, this is all silly. But she's supported by a party now that has to buy into this fantasy. And so she's probably going to come out and say, no, Leah can be a woman if he wants to be a woman.
And like you said before, and Brian said in the intro, we're not throwing hate at Leah Thomas or Rachel Levine. If you're a man and you feel like you need to manipulate your body to become a woman, fine, do that. But I think where the rubber meets the road is that it's not fair for you to compete against biological women, especially in physical activities, sports, swimming, basketball, whatever it is. Leave that to them. Or I think you said this before, start your own league, start your own division.
Yeah. And then if they want to prove their point, which they won't be able to, let transgender people compete against each other. That means let men who transition to women compete against women who transition to men. It'll just be a trans thing. And they will once again see that the biological sex will probably dominate those sports.
Right.
Not in all cases, but in many cases.
Okay. I think time will tell. We'll see if Leah threw the race.
And when you talked about Rachel Levine winning, Woman of the Year. Well, Caitlyn Jenner, didn't she win Woman of the Year on Vogue or something years ago? Yeah. And it's funny, Caitlyn has to kind of toe this line because, kind of like Blair White, they're both transgender women, but they both understand that they are biological men, and they account for that. Whereas some of these people, they live so much in this fantasy that they think, nope, you can have a woman, you can have a baby, you can chest feed. It's like you have to separate. So Cedric's got a lot of hate, and I don't know if you saw our last 2 episodes. So we both got hate. I'm just the racist, but I'm used to that. But he's basically a sellout. He's lost his black card, all of those things. So Blair White and Caitlyn Jenner, obviously, they get hate by the trans community just for speaking what they feel is the truth.
And it's weird, in talking to the trans community and kind of piggybacking on what Brian said about me receiving hate for being a sellout and not supporting my people, which I do, because that means I hate my parents and my cousins and nephews, and don't want to get into all that. But if you talk to the trans community and they fully believe that a man can become a woman and a woman become a man, and if we were to go up to them and say, you know what, that's an interesting concept, If I talk to Brian, say, you know, Brian, I think I'm going to be white and you be black. They would throw a fit. It's like, no, that's not possible. You can't do that.
Well, they would let you be white, but they definitely wouldn't let me be black.
Well, you haven't been oppressed enough. You haven't had enough experience in being black.
Because White Chicks is okay, as I talked about before. That movie was okay. But if we were to do one with a bunch of people in blackface, then...
Well, I mean, like, I don't know, and all you do that, but they're saying they'll say, well, that's ridiculous. Like, it's no more ridiculous than a man becoming a woman or a woman becoming a man. And that's where the hate comes in. As soon as you make that statement, people are like, so you're transphobe. It's like, no, changing your race is no different than changing your sex. You can't do either.
Or Nancy Pelosi, changing her age to be 40.
Well, Ben Shapiro, if you guys haven't seen that clip, he had a great clip years ago when he was talking to a young lady about that who was 22 years old, and he asked her a simple question. He says, why aren't you 60? And if you see the look on this young girl's face, she was completely stumped. He said, you're 22, you can't be 60 because you're not 60.
She's not biologically 60.
Just like you can't be a woman because you are a man.
So, again, people, if they want to live a life, this is, me and Cedric, we're both, it's freedom. Freedom to a point. Obviously, you got to live under the rules of a society. But our rules say, yes, a person can go ahead and live as the other sex. That's fine. But all we're saying, and we've done this over and over, I know we get hate from the trans community, we're just saying when it comes to competition, it's just not fair. And I think the overwhelming majority of people believe that, but they're afraid to speak out.
Yes. And to support all my single friends out there, trans people, stop going to the bars and pretending. It's not fair. It's not fair for a guy to think he's taking Beyonce home and wake up next to Jay-Z. It ain't right. Crying game.
You're just a transphobic. You're afraid of trans people.
I don't like bait and switch.
All right, let's talk about the other story, because as ridiculous as that story is, this one I love because it just shows the hypocrisy that's going on, but just the stupidity. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, New York State has a rule where the
inhabitants have to be vaxxed.
Yeah, everybody has to be vaxxed as an employee.
Right.
So Kyrie Irving plays for the Nets now. Okay. He doesn't, as you guys know, he doesn't want to get vaccinated. So on home games,
he can't play.
Yeah. On away games, if he's playing in a state where they don't require that, he can play. But here's the funny part. And I love him for this. He bought a ticket to the game.
Yes. Yes. So he's no longer an employee. He's a spectator.
So he could go and sit behind the bench, watch the game, and before the game he was hugging, what's his name?
Was it Kevin Durant?
Durant, yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, no mask. He can hug him because he's a spectator.
Yes.
Then he goes and sits down behind, cheers on his team, smashed in close to people, right?
Yes.
Because now you're in the stands. Doesn't that just show the idiocy of all this?
And now it's a damn shame.
And now baseball's starting to follow suit. So with the Yankees and the Mets, they're going through this charade too. And what's funny is I heard about baseball that if you're on another team and you're not vaccinated, you can still play in New York because you're not an employee of that state. So the New York players won't be able to play, but the other teams unvaccinated can play. That's where it was that left off. I know they're negotiating this. Hopefully this whole thing goes away, but it's just so stupid.
If you've been following Brian for a while, I still am to a certain degree a basketball fan, but I just stopped watching after all the Black Lives Movement came about and stuff. But I told people that there's two players in the league I will pay money to watch play. Steph Curry and the other's Kyrie. Yeah. I will pay to watch that man play because he is probably the most skilled player in the league. And this is hurting. I don't know if you want to play the clip from Kyrie Irving. I hate Stephen A. Smith. I shouldn't say hate. I just like what he says.
All right.
I love him. He's very talented. You're putting him on this number.
Wait a minute. He's spectacular. Excuse me. John Stockton's on an all-time 75 list, right?
Right.
John Stockton doesn't have a chip. He doesn't have a ring. Now, I'll give him this. He shows up. He shows up to work. I'll give him a lot of credit for that because we all know that's Kyrie's problem. Showing up to work. And let me...
Stephen A. was hating on Kyrie, saying he didn't show up to work. He didn't show up to work because he was standing by, he had some principles that he was standing by. He says, I am not getting the shot.
Right.
That's why I'm not showing up to work. And then Stephen A. and other sports people said, well, this is wrong because you got Kevin Durant to come to the team. He said, come join me. We'll do this together. Then the mask mandate and the vaccine mandates happened after that. Yeah. So things changed. It wasn't like he just jumped ship on the Brooklyn Nets or Kevin Durant. Things changed in his life. He says, I'm not putting that in my body. And you guys have to respect that.
Yeah. And Kevin Durant backed Kyrie.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, I don't understand it at all. I mean, it's a few people in our arena that's unvaxxed, right? Like, they lifted all of that in our arena, right? So I don't get it.
It's a second mandate that says he can come in but can't play.
I don't get it. It just feels like at this point now, somebody's trying to make a statement or a point to flex their authority. But, everybody out here looking for attention, and that's when I feel like the mayor wants right now, some attention.
He basically called out the state of New York and said, you people need to figure this out.
Right. And then Stephen A. Smith, he was so mad. In the very beginning, if you go back and watch his earlier clips, he was so mad at Kyrie for not getting the shot, not making fun of this. I don't want to make fun of anyone's health. Stephen A. Smith was the one that came down with COVID and said it was to the point where he wasn't sure if he was going to make it or not.
And he already had the vaccine.
And he had the vaccine. Yeah. Kyrie has it. And we're talking about professional athletes, especially in a sport like basketball where your cardiovascular endurance is so high. Has anyone died from a major sport?
And no, we've talked about this for the first year of COVID when it was killing lots of people, especially in New York because of Andrew Cuomo, but I digress. Mm-hmm. A lot of these basketball players got COVID. You know what? They could have probably played. A lot of them came out and said, well, I wasn't that sick. I could have played, but the rules said I had to quarantine for 2 weeks or whatever it was. Yeah. They didn't get that sick. And Kyrie looked at that and he said, look, you don't get that sick. I don't know what's in this shot. I don't know what that long-term effects are, but I know a bunch of my teammates already got COVID and they're fine.
Yeah, you have guys like him. You have Jonathan Isaac from the Orlando Magic. They said it doesn't make sense.
Hopefully this nonsense will end soon.
Now we're going to show you this really quick clip. It's about a citizen of New York talking about the new mayor, is Eric Adams.
Across the board, pointing the finger at Mayor Eric Adams.
These mandates don't make no sense. He said follow the science. It seemed like we following political science. Kyrie can sit in the stands, but he can't go on the court. What kind of sense does that make? Kids have to be at their school desks masked, but they go to a restaurant and sit at a restaurant table unmasked. It makes absolutely no sense. New York City is now a bizarre world. We want to get it back to the old New York.
So just this average Joe is just saying how, New York needs to get together. But that's the same thing that Kevin Durant said.
But is it a coincidence, you tell me, is it a coincidence that a lot of these states like California and maybe even New York, now they're saying, okay, let's do away with the mask. Let's let students go back to school. Does that have anything to do with coming up in November?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because you are going to see a shift as we get closer and closer to the winter. And because election time creates weird things on this in this country. And you're going to probably see, I'm just waiting. I want to put a timestamp on this. Mm-hmm. I'm waiting what's going to happen in Ukraine, what's going to happen with our response. Hopefully, God willing, that's over well before the winter and that gets resolved, hopefully peacefully. But this COVID stuff, the Democrats just want to keep milking this for everything it has. So let's timestamp this and see what happens when we get closer to November.
I think Fauci came out of his groundhog state. He popped up again and said we still need to be leery.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny he disappeared for so long and he got called out on it. Yeah. Some of the Republicans said if we take back over the Senate and the House, we're investigating that guy. And so he's got to be a little nervous right now.
Oh, my goodness.
But anyways, what do you guys think about both things? The transgender issue with people competing. I know there's going to be some of you out there that don't like what we say, but then we want you to make your point, why you think it's fair. And then the whole COVID thing. I mean, I know we're all over it, but those of you who watch us from New York, quit voting in these people.
Yes, exactly. And we got this, thank you to a subscriber out there. We got this from a Hunter Biden, this new laptop. Hope you guys like that. We don't know what's on it. We're going to go through it and see what's on there pretty soon, and we'll let you know what we find.
That'll come out near the election.
Oh, my goodness. All right,
let's do a quick comment. Okay. We got a lot of hate on our video from I'm Not Racist.
I'm Not Racist.
By Joyner Lucas. We can't read them all. Maybe one day we'll do an episode. But
go to that video and just read the comments.
Yeah, just read the comments. Okay, so this person said it was due to one of my comments. Eric Green, Eric, thanks for commenting. Slavery was abolished less than 100 years ago. I'm early 30s, and my mom picked cotton until she was 14 in South Carolina. She is 74 right now. Your math is wrong.
And math does not care about your feelings.
That's right. So
math is facts.
Math is racist, and that's why math is wrong. What year was slavery abolished?
1865.
1865. I was born in 1965, so that's 100 years before I was born.
It's 156 years ago.
Yeah, almost 157 years ago. So if your mother picked cotton, did you say my mother? My mom picked cotton. She may have picked cotton, but she wasn't a slave when she was picking cotton.
She wasn't doing it as a slave. Yeah.
If she was, then whoever was doing that to her, that was illegal.
Someone forgot to tell her.
So.
Yeah. We got a lot of hate on that one. Anyway, that was interesting. But hope you guys enjoyed that video. Brian and I were still growing. We're almost at 20,000 subscribers. Quick comment. A lot of you make the comment that you guys should have way more subscribers than that. We need you. We need you for that. I don't know why we're being shadow banned and things like that, but it will come.
It's because of videos like this where we get all that hate. But I told Cedric when we got those hate, I said we finally arrived.
Yes, when people start hating on you, you're doing something right.
First was the first thumbs down. I was excited about that, and then I was excited that we're getting some hate. We just need you guys. We need to have like a Twitter feed. You guys need to respond to these people.
Yeah, maybe we'll go live. We should go live one day.
Yeah,
we'll do that. All right, you guys. Hope enjoy the rest of your week. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell, and share our channel with everyone you know. And regardless of what side you're on, left, right, black, white, continue being good to each other. Until next time, I'm Cedric.
I'm Brian. We'll see you later.